Okay, Marcus, Doug, Callie, Paul, I got your work up here. Let's start with the process book. And also, before I get started, I just want to bring you guys right over here. This is so important. I think all of you have been in here. Yes, everybody's read the Welcome to Week announcement with the exception of team member Marcus. You might want to go through this announcement, Marcus, or if your team, any of your teammates want to induce, or if any of the team members want to induce Marcus to go ahead and take a look at this announcement. It really describes what's going on next week and how we're going to round out the project, and it's really, really important. Got a little bit of a recap, then what we're doing this week, outcomes, tasks due this week. This is really, really important, guys. This is what's due this week. And then this is what's due for Sunday's submission. Now, it gets actually, we get into next week here too. What's due next week? An exhaustive list of what exactly I'll be looking for in the final process book, as well as the final clickable prototype. And then also we have I've got this. We're going to present next week during week 8, and we're going to do so via video as opposed to trying to have an asynchronous meeting, or I'm sorry, excuse me, a synchronous meeting. That's going to be really, really difficult to do, as we know with the online environment. It's really difficult. I mean, that's presumably why students are on the online environment, because we've got differing schedules and things. So I recognize that, I understand that, so I'm giving the best opportunity to present your work, and I think this is it, via video. It seems to be working out fantastic. Both Jing and Screencast-O-Matic are really, really easy to use. Jing has got a free, I think that caps out at 5 minutes though, and then Screencast-O-Matic, I think, I'm not real sure what the time frame is on that, but your presentation really doesn't need to be more than 5 minutes. So either one of these will work just fine. And there's some exhaustive tutorials here. And the learning curve is really easy. I'm using Screencast-O-Matic right now, and I find it to be really, really straightforward, very, very, very narrow learning curve. So keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead. And we'll go ahead and move that out of the way and jump over to Callie's submission of your group work for the process book, which I have up right here. A few things. It's a good start, guys. It's a great start. Gosh, guys, I got to tell you, the gray background, I think is, boy, I don't know. There's two things in the layout that I think are really distracting. The gray background, because it's just not very engaging. It's so neutral. And then the fact that we've got this big VW here. I don't know if we need that huge VW logo there. Negative space is something we want to learn how to work with as designers. So just keep in mind, you don't always have to let the silence speak, I guess is what I'm saying. If you want to include a logo here, I just don't think it needs to be so prominent. Right now, as we open a page, okay, so if I'm going through here and I go, okay, next page, I jump over here. The first thing I go to really, actually, I should say the second thing, because the image is the first most prominent number one position in hierarchy. But then we go straight here instead of going to the text. And the problem therein, and actually, I should say the reason is because that's the biggest thing on the page. Now, you have it screened back a little bit, which is good, but I still think it's a little bit too prominent in the page. Okay, the gray background is really, really neutral. So you guys might think about something there. Maybe, I don't know, think about it. It's up to you, though. I mean, we're not being really graded on our design techniques here, but I just do want to mention this because it is applicable for including this work in your student portfolios when that time comes. Okay, so let's go ahead and meet the team. Great, good job there. VW customer kiosk. We've got the, this right here, this headline right here, kind of assumes that this project is about a customer kiosk, and it kind of is. But let's just say, if we want to name this, let's call this analysis of the situation or something like that, instead of just jumping right in, because we were introducing the problem right now, and we're not really introducing this as a project that's dealing with a VW customer kiosk, right? That's kind of what we're trying to stay away from. We're trying to actually develop the problems associated with buying cars. So let's try to just kind of rewrite that headline right there so that the viewer doesn't immediately think that this project is immediately about a VW customer kiosk. As we have learned, this is about something much deeper, and that's uncovering the problems associated with the car buying process. Now, follow that thought for a second, and we go down to the problem. Now, in the problem, you indicate that car buying is stressful, but you never say why. So what we really want to get here to the problem is the foundational underpinning of this problem, is the problem statement of this project, is the problem statement. Included in the problem statement, try to include, well, first of all, this isn't long enough. This is really need to be detailed and exhaustive. And what I'm saying is that you want to define the pain points. We want the viewer to know that what we're doing here is we're employing design thinking and deep dive methodology to define, research and define the pain points associated with the car buying process. And that's really what we're after. We got to define those pain points. Otherwise, our approach isn't human-centered. Do you see what I'm saying? So you define the pain points. The main ones being, of course, dealing with the salesman, dealing with the finance people, and then just the whole negative experience associated with going into a car dealership and just kind of being abused and leaving there thinking that you just got had. Do you see what I'm saying? So we want to eliminate all of those pain points, and you want to specify that in the problem statement and also revert or refer to that in your solution statement. Okay? Eliminate the following issues: inconsistency of research and dealership, long process. Yeah, and just kind of, that's great, but we want to introduce that as well here. Just kind of so that in the first paragraph we're saying, okay, we are going to identify issues and we're going to attempt to eliminate those issues. I know you covered it down here, but I think it would be really, really, really important to include in the problem statement because this is your introduction to the project, right? Okay, that was a mouthful. Okay, so then we move on. Oh, guys, we don't have our market analysis here, research of market analysis and competition. We definitely want to include that. So I don't see that here. You go straight to your methodology, which is great. So we've got, you need your market and research analysis. Here you can define really habits of car buyers, average time spent at a dealership. And here, this is where you want to give your facts that you talk about facts, or I'm asking you to talk about facts in the first paragraph, but this is where you give the facts in the research, your research section. So you want to say, 98% of car buyers identify, and I'm making that up, but you'll have to find it in your research. 98% of car buyers identify the salesperson as the number one pain point, and then go into that in your research, right? So you want to fully develop your market analysis. Then you jump into, okay, got a methodology. That's great. Now, don't forget, you want to include your initial individual ideas, including description, sketches, and wireframes. So we want to include, oh, there they are. Wait a second, concept one, augmented reality of wireframes, concept two. Okay, there it is. Okay, my bad, there it is. Excuse me. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so then we jump to personas and scenarios. Persona 1, there's your scenario. Kim, 85, married, marketing director, looking for a family vehicle that is dependable. You might include driving habits here too, or individual tastes and preferences. I would not include the image reference here. You can include the image reference at the end. To 55, 70, 42, 85, mother of two, single. Okay, all right. Good high school principal, and she is a marketer. So we have two professionals. So I'm going to assume before I turn the page that persona 3 is in some other situation for occupation other than being a professional, and 67 new was retired. Excellent. 67, beautiful, beautiful. Income fixed, outstanding, guys. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Looking for a beautiful, affordable, can transport her 2 dogs. Outstanding. Now, did we mention her dogs in the scenario? I don't see it. Oh, yep, there we go. Excellent. All right, great job on your scenarios. Okay, so what do we have next? Guys, I don't see storyboards for your scenarios. Okay, missing storyboards, guys. Want to get those in there. Oh boy, I'm taking a long time here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to speed this up. Concepts, wireframes. Excellent, excellent. Good job. All 3 concepts are wireframed out. That's beautiful, sketched out. And then we have prototypes. Now, a couple of things we're missing also. User testing. We got your prototypes in there. Design thinking. Okay, so apparently you haven't done any kind of testing yet. Okay, so you know what, guys, I just realized something. Yeah, you know what, I'm going through the list for the final solution. So you guys, I should have started this video by saying this. This is usually the most difficult portion of the class to critique. And the reason being is because you guys are in the middle, midstream, so to speak, all sorts of ideas blending and clashing and moving around and morphing and intermingling, right? So that's okay. I'm just trying to give you where we're at now and where we need to be, okay? So please don't think that, you've got most of what we need here, but just please understand that I'm trying to get you to the point where we need to be for the final submission. Okay, so we'll need testing, guys. We'll need testing, right? Okay. Processbook looks great. Let's move to the, okay, one thing I noticed this is really difficult to follow, guys, and the reason I'm saying this is the prototype, and the reason I'm saying is because nothing is clickable. Now, this is clickable. Well, I thought it was. See what I'm saying? There's nothing highlighted here as being clickable. Okay, so what I end up having to do is this, and I'm going to have to reduce this page size. But what I end up having to do to look at the pages is go up here and look at each page individually. Do you see what I'm saying? So what you want to do here is a couple of inconsistencies here. Right now you're saying iPad, but this looks like an iPhone, a shape-proof iPhone. So you definitely don't want to mix your prototypes. Okay, these need, and then, okay, there's a click, there's a click, there's a, okay, so one of the things I'm seeing, okay, that was interesting. What I'm saying, some of your back buttons seem to work, but they all seem to go to the same page. So what we need to do here is just get this tightened up, guys. Get this tightened up. Now, don't forget you want to include, let's take a look at the page that I know I'm taking too long, guys. But we've got this Volkswagen microbus. All right, where's the start page? So welcome to the kiosk. Where do we get started? Now, don't forget, this is where you want to include all sorts of little things, guys, to remove the pain points. For example, we remove the salesperson by maybe adding a questionnaire here so that, a questionnaire like, okay, what are your driving habits? Nothing personal, no personal questions. Well, you can, I should say no invasive questions, but questions like, what is your height and weight? And you can give ranges there so somebody doesn't have to say, well, I'm 5'2" and 165 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say, okay, so in between 5 foot and 5'3", weight in between so-and-so and so-and-so, and then driving habits. Preferred driving conditions, et cetera, et cetera. So what we're doing is eliminating or narrowing it down to a few chosen models. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? Again, that addresses eliminating the pain point of the salesman. Okay, then the financing. Okay, so then you ask questions like, how much do you want to put down? And then it's not saying, it's not putting pressure on like a finance person would do. First, if you guys have ever been to a dealership, you get to the finance station, the first thing they're going to say, or actually the first thing maybe even the salesman is going to say is, how much can you afford a month? And that's just a down and dirty, nasty question. That's below the belt, and that's a question that should never, ever, ever be asked of an end user. It's not about what I can spend every month. It's about what you can offer me. So, try to address all of those problems, guys. All right, I'm over 15 minutes, so I got to cut it short, guys. But hopefully, I'm being thorough enough to point you in the right direction so we can round this thing out, wrap it up. Don't forget to take a look at the examples. I think that would be your best source of inspiration. But these all have to be linked, guys. We have to follow. Let's try to follow one task flow, at least one task flow with your prototype. All right. Excellent, guys. Thank you. Sorry I took so long on this. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications, let me know. Great start, guys. Thank you very much.